Hi, thank you for watching. If you are live, feel free to say hello, just let me know you can see this. And I just wanted to do a really quick video to talk about procrastination and how you can beat it. And also there is a free guide if you want that. I've put together a guide over the last few weeks on managing and beating procrastination. But otherwise, I hope you can watch this, hope you find it useful. Give me a thumbs up if you can see it or if you like it afterwards. And we'll have a little chat. I'm going to go over procrastination and ADHD and why it goes together. I know it's something that everyone struggles with anyway at some point, especially with social media and phones and all the distractions we have. But for ADHDers, procrastination is something that we struggle with chronically. Just getting started with things can be overwhelming and so many distractions around. But I want to talk about procrastination. Obviously, I want you to download the free guide so we can get your email address, but more than that, I want to tell you the 4 things you can do to start helping yourself. And like I say, when you've got ADHD, there's so many things that we can do that get in the way. They put things off, we put things off, and we get distracted, and we don't do the big things that we should do. Sometimes we're overwhelmed by the size of a task. So just the thought, or when you're looking at something and you can't see it broken down, it's overwhelming and we just don't get started, we put it off. But a lot of the times when you break it down into smaller chunks, or it's explained, or you see a different way of doing it, or someone else shows you a way, then we can do it and we can crack on with it and we're more than capable. But that's one thing anyway, and you will learn yourself as you go along, especially if you've just been diagnosed, that you can do things if you just think about them in a different way. But it's not always easy. Sometimes if we're not excited about something, if we're bored, or there's something else we really want to be doing or getting on with, we can miss out the stuff, especially when it's a business and we're getting paid to do something. We've got another project lined up or something more fun, or we've done this for a while now, it's boring, repetitive, we can just stop doing things. So it's important as well to obviously put things into chunks. It's important to do something you're passionate about, because even if it makes a lot of money and it's good at first, if you're not that interested, or your body's it's repetitive, you could find yourself slipping down into a bit of a rut after a few months or years, and it won't be good for the long term. So as ADHD entrepreneurs, we need to manage ourselves. We need to create systems to manage ourselves and to beat procrastination. So we need to put strategies in place. We need to understand when we're procrastinating if we're going to then be successful and grow our businesses. So where do you begin? If you're starting on a project and it's difficult or dull, then you might need to, like we say, you might end up doing something else. You might be checking an email. You might do the smaller things first and just leave that alone. But with procrastination, no matter how long you avoid that task, how many times you put it off, it is still going to be there at the end of the day. And sometimes it is really, really easy to forget that, or to just put it off for forever. But when it's for clients, and you start doing those things, or you're avoiding something anyway. But when it's client work, it's going to cost you in the long run. When it's something you've made bigger in your head, often you'll get into doing it, and it's not even that bad. And it's a lot easier than you thought. A lot of it is just in your mind and your mindset. So, like ripping off a plaster or a band-aid if you're American, but like ripping off a band-aid, it's better to get it out of the way. If you do it slowly, it's going to hurt, it's going to be painful, but you do it quickly, it's done, dusted, probably a lot easier than you thought. So you'll get rid of that dread you feel, and you'll give yourself a little win by doing that little thing that you've ticked off your list and it's done and out of the way. So we will start to feel good. So the 4 things we're going to talk about now, and probably just really, really briefly, I'll do a series of YouTube videos and podcast episodes on deeper dives into these and different things you can do. But to start off, just create an outline. And it sounds really, really simple. It doesn't matter what business you're in, just a plan or an outline. So the outline will save you time. If you're a web designer or a copywriter, or you're podcasting, whatever you're doing, you can create an outline that you can use over and over again. Doesn't mean you're copying your work or you're templating your work. It just gives you a framework you can use, whether it's a blog post, a website, whatever that is. You can copy it and you can tweak it for each project rather than starting from scratch. So outlines save you time. They keep you from doing extra work each time. They make it easy for you to see holes in your own processes and to see where you're doing things that you don't need to be doing or wasting time on. And for you, that's going to be a lot easier, and you can break it down. So it's easier to move around parts of the project. If you've got an outline, you can change things around when needed. You should start off by trying to dump all of your ideas into a project, whether it's a project management tool or a notebook or a digital tool like Evernote. Evernote I absolutely love and use daily. There's Microsoft's OneNote now if you've got a 365, but Evernote for me is my go-to. And then I've got a simple, well, I've got about 50 books, like pens and paper. I've got organisers, planners, just blank notebooks, all of these different things where we do brainstorming and then move on to Evernote afterwards. You can get a PDF scanner from Evernote as well. So if you've got handwritten notes and digital what you want to type up, you can scan them in and it all goes into your Evernote folder. The free version is pretty good, to be fair. You can store all sorts of stuff and move it into different kind of books. So depending on the project, you might need to be really, really detailed, or it could just be a basic outline, like a basic overview or a bird's eye view of that project or whatever you're doing. But do it to suit you. Do it a couple of times, see what works out. Tailor that for you and your business or your clients, whatever you're doing. But by doing that, it doesn't have to be carved in stone, but you're just saving yourself that time for setting up the same thing over and over again. But yeah, hopefully you'll find that useful. The second thing I've already touched base on is breaking things down. So big projects, when you get a big project, whether you're taking on work or even if it's something at home, I do this all the time, to be fair, and I put things off. But big projects can be overwhelming, and we have it at school when we put off big pieces of work. We get it in the workplace when we're lumped with a big task, or when we're in a business and we've got this huge thing we need to get done, whether it's paperwork or a client task. This big, massive thing that we've thought of in our head is a lot worse. Just usually, if you break it down into small chunks, it is a lot easier to manage, and it doesn't seem as overwhelming. So if you're writing a book, or we're going to start off with an ebook. You're writing a 30-page ebook, just something basic, whether that's for your paid course or giving it away, like what I've done with that guide. You can break that down then into, say, 6 chapters of 5 pages. So now you need to just focus on creating the basic idea of each chapter. That's it. Could be headlines, could be the ideas of what you're going to do, and then you could spend another day going in and looking into finer detail of what you want to put in the chapter, or maybe each of the 5 pages, what you want to do in each one and how they're going to flow together. So how you break down these tasks depends on obviously your schedule, how much free time you've got, and what information you've got at the minute. You can always go back and do things long term when it's an idea for a business or a product or whatever you want to do. You can go back, you can do it in 6 months or you can do it tomorrow, but you prioritize your time around what time you've got and what work you've got on. But you could write several pages a day. Dr. Dawn Brown, the lady I spoke to, the ADHD expert, she wrote a book in a day. She put all these things together and just wrote a book in a day. But some people might take a year or a couple of years to write a book. But whatever it is, you can just break it down. You could get it done in a week or a day, like Dawn, if you've got all the stuff together. But by brainstorming and having these ideas, you're not staring at a blank page. You've literally got ideas. Like we do the blog posts, we get a load of titles together or thoughts for a blog post, and then I'll see questions online on ADHD groups. With the marketing company, I'll be listening to people online and seeing what people are struggling with websites or what they're asking, and then try to put a post together about that. Some of them I've already half written. I've got stacks of stuff that's half done and I need to go back into and finish. And same as the ADHD podcast and things. I've got loads of ideas for episodes, but they're already started to be off. I can go back in and finish them off. Some days I do more than one in one go, but do that. Break things down, write your ideas down, and get into it. Hyper focus when you can. Not knowing what to do. Third one is really easy. Have fun. So have fun. If something's boring you in your business and it's not for you, try to not do it, obviously. Try to outsource it or bring someone on to do that. You don't have to be able to do that now if you're not in a position. If it's paperwork and you can't afford to bring someone in for the admin, you can just think about when you can do that, when you can afford to do that, then you plan to do that and put plans in place and maybe copy your processes down so you can bring someone in and they already know what to do because you've documented everything already. So if you can't afford to bring someone into your business, think about raising your prices. If you've got a lot of work on and you can't afford to bring someone in yet, then you need to seriously look at your prices, because you've got a duty, first of all, to your clients to be in business, to be able to afford your lifestyle, and to keep serving them. So when you're struggling and you can't seem to get your head in the game, you can't seem to get in and get started, try listening to music. On Spotify, what I do is listen to podcasts, and when I'm working, I try to listen to podcasts, but then I'll get distracted. But I listen to podcasts when I'm driving, and sometimes when I'm doing bits of work. But a lot of the time, I'll just put on playlists for ADHD focus music or just instrumental music, and I've chilled out music in the background. So podcasts and playlists on Spotify. If you type in ADHD on Spotify and go to playlists, you find some really, really good stuff. Might be a bit boring, might not be what you listen to. It's just some chilled out music to have behind you. If you don't use Spotify, you can get the free version. You'll have the ads, which are annoying, but you can just go to YouTube and do the same. Just put in ADHD music or ADHD focus music, and there'll be all sorts of stuff on there, like white noise music and all sorts. You can find videos and instrumentals that will just help you clear your mind, focus, and just carry on without listening to all the outside distractions. If you do prefer a bit of noise, you can look for obviously your favourite kind of music, but I tend to start listening to lyrics and stuff if that goes on. Fourth and final thing, so it's really brief, is to set deadlines. So even if you miss them, setting deadlines will help you to get things done and to have an idea in your head that it actually has to be done. Because with ADHD, a lot of the time we are time blind, and think of things as being done either now or not now. It's not that we've got a week to do something, it's just not now. So if it's got to be done today, it's got to be done. If it's got to be done in a month from now, it's just not now, so we don't do it. So when you do think about how you're going to start to tackle a project or take on some new work, you will procrastinate, or you're probably going to procrastinate. I do it all the time, I'm doing it now. But just remember that giving yourself a deadline, and by looking at the deadline and having a to-do list and having it written down somewhere on a calendar and little reminders for yourself will give you that little bit of urge to get it done instead of waiting until the last minute. Because if you do that with a client and something goes wrong, they're going to be annoyed, you're going to damage your reputation, and you're probably not going to work with them again. So just try telling yourself that, if you're going to go to the gym one day, give yourself a time, whether it's between 4 and half 4 or 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Do something, get up, get ready, and go to the gym at the right kind of time. And if you've got to do a piece of work, get that finished by a certain time before you go. Don't just put things off, and don't forget about things. But giving yourself a deadline from an outside appointment can give you that kind of push you need to go and get started. Sometimes it doesn't make much of a difference, I'll be honest, I do it myself. But that's why you use this and set reminders and various alarms and reminders to keep yourself on track. So just remember that when you're doing projects or you're taking on big pieces of work, when you actually get things done and you tick things off your to-do list, if you use one, which I would, because when you tick it off, you get that really good feeling that you do get a sense of achievement. You are going to do things, and just enjoy it. So that's about it. I just wanted to get on a video, probably waffled on anyway, and not gone over everything I wanted to do, but it's out there. I recorded loads of videos for YouTube, loads of podcast episodes I'm not that happy with, but I'm probably going to put them out there anyway, to be fair, and just get them gone so I can move on to the next thing. And obviously, if you found this useful, you should like my guide on managing your procrastination. It probably could be improved, but again, get it. It's out there now. It's 20 pages. It's completely free. Download that. There should be a link. I'll drop it in the comments if it's not. And if there's any questions, if you want me to cover another video or anything else, feel free to just ask away. I'm always happy to talk. Thanks a lot, and take care.